All right. Okay, so that's looking a lot better. Okay. All right. Yo, welcome back. All right. So, uh to address what happened last time. Yeah, this is that god hand from yesterday. I kept the packaging for it because this was my first god hand, so it was a bit of a special thing for me. So I returned it to its original packaging, and I will keep it as a reminder of um yesterday and all the memories I have with it. But thanks for Amazon being a thing and the good old overnight shipping. I was able to get my replacements, and I picked up like a normal pair. That way, I don't have to make that initial cut with the God hands, and hopefully, I can avoid making those bad cuts again. All right. So with that, let's get. Okay. I need that about there. Okay. That looks good. All right. Oh my god. Okay. Water and posture. Okay. Let's get right back into it. Yep, stay hydrated and do those posture checks. Where am I? Ah, that's the one I was using earlier. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I woke up a little early today, and I used that to take care of some house chores that I needed to do. But I also spent most of that morning playing more Shadowverse, the mobile game, not the physical card game. I was watching another streamer that I'm a bit of a fan of, and they were bringing up the idea of like free to play friendly like gotcha games, and they brought up Shadowverse as like their go-to free to play gotcha game, and that drastically confused me because I didn't peg them for like a trading card game player. But sure enough, they play Cardfight not Cardfight Vanguard, Shadowverse, and they explained it that they never play competitive online, and that like their from their perspective, they only really play the single player bots, where they can just casually beat the bots and play through the story. And that was just like it was a thing that was always there, but I never paid attention to it because I've always had like a bit of like I'm gonna go straight to competitive mindset. Oh, what the? Hold on. Something happened there? What's going on? Okay, there we go. That was strange. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that concept of like just playing the single player and then not caring about building a meta deck, like that was just a perspective I didn't have. Because ever since I got into like card games as a kid, right? I wanted to play like semi-competitively, right? I was never a fan of the idea of like strictly just playing meta, but I was always a fan of seeing how far I could take a deck that I was interested in and like making that perform as like best as it can. So when she like mentioned that idea, I decided to give Shadowverse another try and only play like this single player, and that's been very refreshing. Okay, so now I'll need H2 H2, and just that alone, Shadowverse has this thing where like you can just kind of like pick what point of the story you want to like start from and just play from there, which is such a nice like option to have because I played through the introduction like 3 or 4 times. And so look, I'm in the second part of the story, which is called the Guild Wars, and man, the writing is good. Like I appreciate it so much. I'm so happy it is the way it is. Like the writing is very compelling, and they actually have the characters voiced, right? And the voice is optional. Like if you don't want the voices, you don't have to download them. But I decided to give the voices a shot because why not? And the voice acting is actually like really, it really sells the characters, and that's also another part that I really appreciate. Okay. Oh god, I haven't used one of these in a minute. Okay. Oh man, it's been so long since I've used a normal non-single bladed nipper. Okay. Okay. So far with this model kit, the only thing that I've noticed that's like different is the quality of the plastic, and not necessarily like the quality is like, how do I phrase this? Is the quality higher? Yes. But it's not just that the quality of the plastic is higher, it's also a lot harder than the plastic that I'm used to on like other Bandai model kits. Oh, weird. Is that just like a Streamlabs problem? Because okay. Hide the camera, unhide it. Then the resolution should pick itself back up. Huh. Strange. But yeah, starting to feel that this model kit is more and more cursed. Almost all the settings are the same from yesterday. So I'm not exactly sure what it would be. But aside from, like I was talking about, like the quality and the like hardness of the plastic, a lot of these are very familiar takes. Like what I'm doing with the neck right now is actually taken from a older kit from like pre-2010s, I want to say. I'm not exactly sure on the date of it, but for Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, there were the Lagao, the Buku Hound, and the Buku Hound Kerberos. Kerberos, Kerberos, something like that. And their neck design, because they were like dog themed tanks, is like the best way I could describe those kits. Because they were dog themed, they had like neck structures very similar to what I'm doing right here. Okay, so now that's like this. They want me to okay. A bit finicky, but that's fine. Okay. And this last one, they want it like this. Right, something like that, right? Okay, and then they would want this piece to top off the end of that neck. Oh, yeah, no, I have a backlog. Some of which I plan on using for, like, custom builds, because I do want to get into that. And I'm planning on doing some of that stuff in the second half of summer. One runner down. When I have a bit more time, I'll be working on those. But I'm, like I said, I'm close to doing my first, like, custom hand painting job, and then I'll be posting that, like, on social media and stuff like that. And then I also want to paint a hand paint some other miniatures, just because I want to get more practice in with the hand brush, or paintbrush rather. I've been watching a lot of videos, and I've been getting my hyperfixation on, like, painting back. And then they want me to do this with it, right? Yeah. They do want it like so. Okay, and then... So this is what confuses me. So everything is kind of... They want to do the bend. Oh, that's why this is all kind of having a hard time. Okay, let's get all these off the wire again. Okay. Okay, that's a bit better. Now it's just a matter of getting all these back into place. But yeah, I currently have a Delonza Soul, because I have something I want to do with the rifle and the shields on it. I have a Gundam, a Buster Gundam from Seed, like an old HG, and I'm a fan of it, and I want to see if I can kit bash that with the Lightning Buster that's going to be coming out soon. Yeah, yeah. Usually the wires are meant for, like, a gimmick. But in a couple of rare cases, with some of these Bandai kits, the wires are used for... Yep. So, hold on. I need to take this part off. Then I can put this part back like so. So like, let's see. It's supposed to be like so. Yeah, so with this, how do they want? How do they want us to cap it off? Usually they just have you fold like so. But yeah, so right, so it can bend like this, and then the upper plating kind of goes to match with it. Then you can straighten it out. If you wanted to, you could bend this way, bend the other way. Again, like for the Buku Hounds, this was like a thing that they did back in like the 2010s, like early 2010s, or maybe even before that. But like it's just a really interesting thing to see crop back up after all this time. So then this would connect here. So you could have the head bend like this, and makes it a bit more posable. And this is in my opinion, a better solution to just having each of these on a ball cap. So that's the neck. There's another part. Where did I put? Okay, thank goodness. Oh my god. Okay, so far I haven't seen much need for gluing. I remember that being a thing I'll probably need to do with the wings, just to close up those seam lines. Okay. Honestly... Okay, next up is the body. BH polycaps. Okay. This is F. BH. 45, 43. Boy howdy, am I so happy I'm using these nippers for some of these cuts. So theoretically, that exact thing that you're talking about, you could just make a diorama. Because there's a model kit line called 30-minute missions that I like to mess around with because they're very customizable. They have this set that I just have right here. Gotta move things real quick. But more or less, this is like a set that they have for like using as like a stand for like a model kit to also have it be like, you know, a bit more of a diorama kind of thing, right? And what this set came with are these little buildings, and there's a kind that are ruined right here, and then these that are pristine. So if you bought multiple of these and you just stack the ones that are pristine, you could probably paint it up to look like that Kaiba Corp tower. And then you could just set up like a paper background to make the moon and have the blue eyes like at the top of it. Or you can mess around with perspective maybe. That way it looks like the blue eyes is on top. If those didn't work, then I'm sure you could just do like a cardboard display to make like the building. B15 and wait, sorry, B, not H. B1, 5 and 6, 3, 4, 5. And right here. Okay. So they want it like so. 45. Wait. Okay, wait. So they want it like this. Go backwards? Like so. Yeah, they want it with that bend. So they want this in the back. That. They want the smaller one. The key forward. So like this. So when you're making your cut, you could just make a cut direct, right? But there's a couple of things you have to keep in mind. And there's a reason why I'm making the cuts the way I am. Let me just put these together real quick. Okay, so when you make a cut, right? If you cut too closely, let me just see if I can show you, right? Let's cut both sides right here. Okay. So right here, you can kind of see like the shape of the cut, right? Where it's not completely flush. That's because nippers like this one, they don't necessarily cut, but they squeeze until it like snaps, right? So that can cause things like pinching of the plastic, and it does this thing where it pulls and it causes like discoloration. And you want to avoid that, because sometimes what that also does is when it pulls that plastic, when it pinches, it gouges and creates a hole, right? So there's like two ways to like avoid it, right? There's the two cut method, which is what I'm doing like for this kit, where you cut away from the actual part to get the part off the runner, right? Because when it's attached to the runner, there's a bit more of a resistance. But when it's off the runner, I go back with these, because single-bladed nippers... Let's... Single-bladed nippers, like the God Hand, right? They don't pinch. They actually cut. The thinner blade is the part that does the cutting. The fatter blade is actually a stopper. So what you're supposed to do with a God Hand is you place the part against the stopper, and then you squeeze, and the blade would cut through the plastic. Okay? So, again, like that, right? And you see how that is more or less kind of flat? That's because of the single blade. Whereas if the cut was done with just a normal nipper, there's a bit more of a pull and a pinch, right? And it's a lot more noticeable when you do it this way, where the edges create kind of like a little bit of a mark on the corners. So it does matter, but if you, some people, they just want to do the build and get it over with, so they can just do single snips and it's more or less fine. I probably should have paid more attention on what part I was supposed to cut next, but I see where in the manual I need to cut that part out. So be 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, a lot of thought went into quite a few things in these hobbies, and part of it is just because they keep wanting to make, you know, innovations, make improvements. They keep finding new ways to doing things. Okay, hold on. Let me get these bits. You also want to cut near the back of the blade because there's just more surface and it's healthier for the blade if you cut near the back. That's what I was saying like yesterday when I made like a really bad cut. It's because I was cutting at the front of the blade instead of more towards the center or back. So that's what made the blade bend yesterday at the start. So I'm going to be more careful with this set moving forward. That way these ones last a bit longer. So they wanted these two too. Yeah. And that's part of this hobby specifically. When you move on to, like, if you actually want to learn how to paint, like, you're gonna make mistakes when you paint, and it's just a matter of either learning what to do after you make that mistake and learning how to fix what you can, if not take advantage of the mess up, because there's a lot of thought that goes into painting that I want to get some more practice in. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I need it. 1 second. I just realized something. Oh, thank God. Okay. That's gonna be one less thing I'll have to do. Alright. I just realized that there's something I could do here. Okay. A bit harder to notice on the top, but I still want to take care of that. Okay. Okay. And I just need to separate this a little bit more. Okay. Okay, wait, actually, hold on. First things first, I need to see. Okay, alright, I think the cement works here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna need to give that a little bit of time, and I might want to do that same to here. Okay. So to explain what I'm doing here, this is called plastic cement, or Tamiya extra thin cement. And what plastic cement does is it melts the plastic together. And what this effectively does is, because a lot of these parts are like two slabs of plastic slapped together, there's usually something called a seam line. And a seam line is like, you get to see where the two parts come together. When you cement the parts together and you're melting that plastic, it removes that seam line, and all it takes is a little bit of sanding at the top to make it look like a seamless singular part. Okay, so these come together like that. And then we're going to be using this big boy joint. Yep, the battle continues. I will not be discouraged. I will not be intimidated. I will not be defeated by a blue eyes white dragon. like so, and this will come back. Yeah, it happens. But this is a game that isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! So I refuse to lose to Blue Eyes White Dragon here. Actually, I might want to use the stronger cement here. Shit. Okay. Okay, so I'll put that stuff there. Okay. Okay, so I do need H42. But yeah, like if this plastic was a different color, I could show it a bit better. But like, hold on. Ugh. If you look near the center of this little runner piece, it's really hard to see because of the lighting and also because of the color of this piece. But there's like a white line in the center. All of that white on this like sky blue, those are called stress marks, and that's where like a lot of, you know, stress has been put on the plastic. It's usually a sign that the plastic is like close to snapping. But like right here, you could kind of see it. Like there's still a little bit of stress. So like right up here. Yeah. There's a little bit of stress, but that little square is just like a straight cut through that plastic. I'm gonna need which ones? Okay, I'm actually gonna do these ones one at a time. B111. Okay. 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 There it is. That's the third runner spot. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And for this, I need to clean these off. Okay, one moment. Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna try changing something. Okay. Okay. I tried swapping camera outputs, and I'm gonna see if that does anything. Okay. So yes. The ball joints are for mobility, right? It's to make it to where, like, so for example, this is supposed to be the housing for like the shoulders, right? So once I get the shoulders in, you'll be able to move it around, right? It's kind of like how, like, well, yes, this is a model kit. This head is articulated, right? The mouth is articulated. The tongue goes up and down. You know? Like, the part of the fun of model kits is posing them, right? Um, personally, I find more the fun in the building process, which is why I'm not against the idea of, like, at some point, gluing down my model kits, if I plan on painting them. If I have no desire to, air quotes, play, air quotes, with the model kit afterwards. Okay. So that's this part. So when this is done and it goes to the person that owns the kit, they'll be able to pose it. The only thing is, the gluing that I'm doing is on parts that don't move, like, in and of themselves. Because I'm also trying to clean up some of those seam lines while I'm at it. And cementing pieces together, or gluing, the terms are interchangeable here. Cementing parts together that don't move can make the kit a bit more sturdier. So hopefully after this goes into the hand of the person who actually owns this kit, they won't have to worry about it coming apart. I have a nephew that I like to refer to as the Gremlin. And really sweet kid, right? And he has an interest in, like, robots because he keeps seeing them in my room. But I don't want him to touch any of them. Half because choking hazard, half because I don't want him to break them. Or I don't want him to think he broke one when it's just like a insecure connection that, like, kind of, like, just went undone. So, like, one of these days I'm gonna pick up a kit and I'm gonna, like, cement it down in just the right way so it doesn't come apart when he, like, plays with it. Okay. I'm gonna give thin a try here. all that together. Now I need 10 and 1. Okay, so just to demonstrate just like a flush cut, right? I could do something like that. Usually you don't want to. The idea is that with God hands, you can. And it's a lot of a cleaner cut, and then you just need to do a little sanding for cleanup of like anything left over, but I'm not a fan. Okay. And B1 10. For Godzilla kits, I'm not too familiar with those, because I've mostly only ever done like some mostly Bandai, like mostly like 30-minute missions, Gundam, and whatnot, and I've done a little bit of Kotobukiya, which honestly that might be where the Godzilla kits come from, because I know Kotobukiya like reaches out and does like other franchises like stuff. For example, like if you wanted a model kit of Metal Gear Rex from like Metal Gear Solid, Kotobukiya has you covered there. But that kit is a chonker. But for Godzilla, I would assume that there's probably like a similar build process to like this here, to some degree. These ones I think I have to be careful about. I'm not going to glue these ones in, because these ones look like they're supposed to be interchangeable on purpose. And it might have to do with like using certain like poses. That might have been problematic. Okay. 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 Okay, that's looking pretty clean. Okay, that's good. This one's gonna need a little bit more attention because there's little nub marks that got left over. Not nub marks, but like little tiny nubs I also need to sand down. Okay. Just gotta keep at this a little bit more. Hold on. Gotta get this just right. Okay. Now for this top portion. Also, as an update on games that I care about, Duelist from Eden is out as a full release. I need to give that game some more attention when I get a chance to. It's just like when it came out, it was like, oh, hey, here's Dragon's Dogma 2, here's Helldivers 2, and I'm just like, man, I have to choose, and I chose not to get into Dragon's Dogma 2 as much because, frankly put, my desktop cannot run it well because that is a PlayStation game for the foremost, so it does not, it has its problems on PC. So Dragon's Dogma, you are an Arisen. The Arisen are people who have their hearts eaten by a dragon. Okay, and because of that, they are effectively like super warriors that are really hard to die. Like, it's really hard to die, or something like that, because you can rise again from the dead, and you have access to these things called pawns that, you know, are these weird beings that aren't quite human but look like it. And so, like, the story kind of goes like, you're Arisen, here's what it means to be an Arisen, and here's this world filled with like really insane monsters. You have to fight them, kill them, survive, all while trying to hunt down the dragon that ate your heart, so you could kill that dragon to become normal again, to regain your humanity. Also because, like, the dragon is just a terror and is an evil creature that threatens, you know, everyone's lives just by existing. And there's probably like a lot more to Dragon's Dogma 2. Again, I didn't get to play much. I bought it, I installed it, I played it like for like 30 minutes and went like, Man, it would be really nice to have like a locked 30 frames to just be able to play the game normally. And that was something that I could not achieve on my rig. It's how do I put it? It's 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 a fine line between RPG and like a character action game. Dragon's Dogma was made by the guy behind like Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5, if I remember correctly. I know the same guy worked on 2, but I wouldn't attribute him to 2 because like by the time he was put on Devil May Cry 2 as a project, like it was so far in development that he didn't really have say in anything. So like he had to kind of make the best of what 2 could be, and that is a very tall order for anyone. So I don't blame him for 2 being the way it is. In fact, like his dissatisfaction with Devil May Cry 2 is why Devil May Cry 3 is considered so good. And then he fleshed out Devil May Cry 4 a bit more. And 5. But yeah, in Devil May Cry, not Devil May Cry, in like Dragon's Dogma, you can straight up just get attacks from Devil May Cry as like abilities for like some of these characters. But yeah, at some point I'm gonna go back and play some more Duelist from Eden and see if I can polish up my skills there, because that is the one style of fighting game where I kind of feel confident about, or feel that I could be a little bit better at, since like the idea of dropping inputs or how do I put this? My number one problem with fighting games is that like I can imagine the move. I know the inputs for the move, right? And there are just times when I will do the inputs and it doesn't feel like the move comes out. At least not the move that I want to, right? There are like situations where like from one position I'll try to do a Hadoken, right? To shoot out the fireball. And then I do the uppercut. Or like I'll want to do the uppercut and then I shoot the fireball. So like stuff like that makes me feel really frustrated when it comes to fighting games. And in a game where like all of your special moves are tied to cards and it's just a matter of having the mana to use them and using them at the right time, I don't feel anywhere near as bad. Was it? Yeah, it was here. Eh? Oh, that's why. So like that's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then like that. No, that's not right. Is it? Okay, so it's like so. Oh. It's supposed to be like so. Then like this. Then I'm assuming. Is it like that? Oh, it is. Okay. But yeah, like I do want to touch Grand Blue a bit more because Grand Blue seemed like a really fun franchise in general. And Grand Blue, while I while I understand that characters from Grand Blue are from Grand Blue, I recognize some of those characters from Shadowverse. So to me, they're from Shadowverse. So Grand Blue Versus is a fun game because it features characters that I recognize from Shadowverse. Okay. 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 So what I'm doing right here is there's another cut for the wire that I need to make. And the measurement that I need to cut is slightly like cut off at the corner. But like so. Okay. Okay. So this should be about the length of the wire that I need. Okay, with that, I can kind of just move on. Okay. F and ball caps. Okay. I have some friends that are playing Tekken 8, but I'm not too sure if I want to get into Tekken 8 because my problem with Tekken 8 is they took out the character I was playing in Tekken 7. So that's kind of the problem. And there isn't a character that's like him in 8 either. So I would have to, like, want to pick up a new character altogether. Yeah, Project L is also a game that I'm waiting for. I would be extremely excited to play it. But that game also scares me because it's very Marvel. It's very Marvel versus Capcom in that it's a hyper-themed fighter. Also, yo, sup Zeta? Glad to see you stop by. It is indeed the Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is a model kit a friend of mine picked up, but he doesn't do model kits, so I'm building it for him. This is the model kit that broke my other pair of god hands. My first pair of god hands. So, I particularly feel that this is a particularly cursed model kit. It really doesn't help. I've spent a very large portion of my life talking shit about the deck. Because I just don't like Blue Eyes White Dragon. And that's not like, oh, Dark Magician's much better, which it's not. Straight up just not. It hurts that you bring up Red Eyes, because I've always wanted to like Red Eyes. It's just Konami doesn't know what to do with them. Every time Red Eyes gets new support, it does something different than the old support. It's so unfortunate. Because Red Eyes actually has a lot of really good potential. And, like, they got, like... Their XYZ is so good. And I feel like they just needed to continue down the design direction of their XYZ monster. And it would have been fine. But, like, they just don't know what to do with it. F8 and 7. Okay. I'm still in the position that I've more or less jumped off the Yu-Gi-Oh ship completely at this point. Like, I'll play other formats with friends, right? Like, if I'm hanging out with friends and they bring up, like, Edison format, right? Or Goats, I'll be down to play that. Yeah, sure. But, like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh is... I'm not there. It's not for me anymore. What the new modern formats are like asking for of players and for players to be able to do consistently, it's just not for me. It's why I've like come to like really like Cardfight Vanguard. Okay, wait, so it's like this. Oh, weird. Oh, that is so strange. Okay, and then this is that longer wire, right? Okay. Yeah, this is that longer wire. Okay. Oh, that is so strange. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. This is 1413. Okay. Another card game that I've been like really looking into is Grand Archive. Grand Archive like seems very interesting. And I found a place that I could go to for like locals, and I'm gonna give that a shot. I just need the rest, because like I had this wonderful idea that instead of just buying a starter deck and like building up from what that starter deck like has, because the starter deck, you know, introduces a coherent strategy, it's just a matter of making that strategy like better. I had the great idea of being like, I want to build my first deck from scratch for a character that is not one of the starter deck characters. And they introduced like a second like edition, not a second edition, but like a second wave of like starter decks for like new characters that are genuinely really good. And I was like, nah, I want to build one for not those characters. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna need. I genuinely have no clue what's causing that. And the fix is just like pausing and then unpausing. Or rather, hiding the source on OBS and then like unhiding it. Okay. 16:15. Okay. Oh, whoops. That was almost a mistake. Yeah. I have another friend that also knows about that card game, and they have some booster boxes that they're planning to open at some point because they're big Fire Emblem fans. So I'm gonna hopefully see them open some of that. Because I'm just a sucker for TCGs, man. Okay. So, how does this work? So, it would be... Okay. Like so. Then like so. And then there's 3 more segments. At this rate, I should be able to finish today. Okay. It's getting more frequent. But yeah, there's a few card games that I wish, like, we got to see in America that we never got to. I don't know if that's a detail or not. So if I were to put it like so. Ah, okay, so I am supposed to keep that there. Good. Good thing I didn't cut it. Okay. Okay. So honestly, I'm really close to done as is. It's just a matter of finishing off this tail, and then I'm assuming it's just the arms and legs. and technically the stand, but yeah. So I might wrap up soon once I finish the tail, and then I'll save the legs, arms, and wings for a third stream. Maybe Thursday. If not Thursday, then Saturday morning-ish, Saturday morning, afternoon-ish for sure. It'll give me some time to figure out what's going on here, because I've never had this be a problem for any of my streams where I've done this. Like, I'm thinking that potentially it could be because my phone's battery was kind of low. Like, it's plugged in, but it was low before I started. So maybe that's playing a factor in this. But at the same time, again, like, I can just hide the stream or hide the capture and then unhide the capture, and then it starts working again. Oh, I don't like the feel of that. Like so. I'm gonna try the normal cement. Okay. Then got one more. Okay. I'm also looking forward to the eventual release of Rabbit and Steel. Rabbit and Steel is gonna be great. I just know it. The demo for it's already a fantastic experience. And the guy keeps showing off like more of the classes that he wants to be in his game. Or that are, sorry, not that they want in their game, but that's going to be in their game. And like just seeing them show up is like really fun. So like Rabbit and Steel is like just a description of what that game is. It is a bullet hell kind of like Toho, with the idea that it's supposed to be a co-op game that you emulate certain like MMORPG like raid battle mechanics with roguelite elements. Yeah, lol. Just like that. Yeah, just as you described. And it is fantastic. They showed off the sniper class, which is, you know, the idea of the archer. And then they showed off the Spellblade, which based on what I saw there, uses a rapier and casts spells, but every spell cast makes the rapier stab twice. So like you have to weave your spells between your attacks to make the attacks like do optimal damage. So like I'm hella stoked for this game to come out. And that guy could take as much time as he wants. Or they want. I'm not too sure about who the dev is. In like specifics, but they have a really cute art style. I love their stuff. I love their other work in Maiden Spell. I'm probably gonna do a return to that game at some point as well. Ooh, that's good to hear. The OC dropping soon. Because that person, like, if they do all the music themselves, they do a really good job. But whoever does the music for Maiden Spell and what's going to be Rabbit and Steel, fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so they're gonna want it like this. Okay. Okay. And then through the last gap. Like so. Then one can fold this way, the other can fold this way. Okay, then it just needs the ball joint, right? Yeah, PC7. And this just plugs right here. There we go. And we have Blue Eyes Snaky Boy. So with that, I think I'm gonna wrap up here for today. And then again, I'm thinking I'll continue this either like it'll be like Thursday afternoon night ish. If not, it'll be around the same time I started yesterday's and today's stream next Saturday. So with that, yo, thank you all for stopping by. And I'll catch you all next time.